Hey there, South Mississippi. This is meteorologist Aaron Colby. Today, we're going to be talking about some cool things going on in space weather. We have been tracking a couple different things. We've been talking about it on air and on social media, but let's take a little bit of a deeper dive on exactly what is going on. And well, we have been tracking, first of all, the comets that we did see earlier in the month that has returned to the area. It's going to become visible once again beginning Sunday night. Now, let's take a look at what that looks like. And beginning early Sunday night, it will become visible on the western horizon. However, it will be setting right behind the sun, so it will only be visible for about an hour or two following sunsets. And the good news is that this will be coming back for several days towards the beginning of next week, so you do have multiple opportunities to see it. But of course, earlier in its cycle, it will be a lot brighter. It might even be possibly brighter than it was earlier in the month. So especially Sunday evening and Monday evening, it might be pretty clearly visible even to the naked eye, although binoculars or long exposure photography may still be useful when trying to get a clearer image of the comet itself. And once again, over the next several days, so beginning Sunday, possibly into Monday, Tuesday, and maybe even Wednesday evening, we could catch a glimpse of this. However, it will be very shortly after the sun sets, because the comet will also be setting right behind the sun. So give it about 1 or 2 hours after the sunset before it becomes completely invisible because of it setting down below the horizon. Now, we have also been talking about the aurora borealis, or also known as the northern lights. Yes, it could become visible across most of the United States beginning tonight, as a very strong coronal mass ejection begins to reach Earth. This has actually already happened. As we go into this afternoon, we are beginning to see the energy from this arrive in Earth's atmosphere. Some parts of the Earth that are on the nighttime side at the moment are already beginning to see some of these auroras. Parts of like New Zealand and Russia over the past couple of hours, and this may become visible for most of North America as we go into late this evening. Timing would be about 7 p.m. to about 1 a.m. That's when these would be about at their brightest for most of North America. Now, this far south, it may be very difficult to catch it. You may need a long exposure camera or a cell phone that does have a long exposure mode on the cell phone camera. But take a look at this chart. You can see here, these are some of the areas that is expected to be the brightest. Now, north of this yellow line, so portions of like Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, and a lot of our Great Lakes area could be seeing some very bright auroras almost directly overhead. Now, north of this green line, these areas could potentially see it on the horizon, but it's better to have a long exposure camera or a cell phone or maybe even a professional camera in order to actually be able to see these very clearly. Once again, very low on the northern horizon if you're trying to catch them here from the Gulf Coast. If you're further inland, it's possible that you could see some of those lights on the horizon. You will still need a camera or a cell phone to help you exactly find some of those brighter patches. Now, what exactly causes these? And this is exactly what that coronal mass ejection looks like when it comes off of the sun. It's basically a type of solar flare that travels across space towards Earth. Once it arrives, the magnetic field of Earth will break it apart. This energy will then travel towards the northern and southern poles, where it impacts the atmosphere of Earth, interacting with it, creating these different lights. And that is exactly how we get these auroras to form. And due to the really nice weather across most of the United States over the next several days, tonight these auroras should become very visible for a lot of people. And as we go into early next week, weather does stay really nice, very cloud-free, so you might be able to get a really clear view of the comet as well. Take a look at the 7-day forecast here in South Mississippi. Things really nice over the next couple of days. We do have another cold front coming through. This is early next week. That could bring our temperatures down into the 70s during the afternoon. maybe even the 50s as we go into the early morning hours of next week. But between now and then, take a look, it's still not bad at all. Afternoon temperatures in the low to mid 80s. You're waking up right around 60 degrees, maybe even some inland areas touching into those 50s.